Let me ask you a question. What is your biggest concern when you go to a gas station? What is your biggest concern when you go to a restaurant? At a gas station, it might be the price of gas. And why am I asking you this question? Because this week, on Tuesday, 4 Israelis were murdered because they were at a hummus restaurant next to a gas station. Four people on Tuesday started their day as normal, went to a restaurant, a hummus restaurant, and that is the last thing they would ever do. A Palestinian terrorist opened fire, 4 Israelis were murdered, and 4 were injured. Right now, as of recording, the 4 remain injured and we have no update on their condition. But this week has seen an increase in terrorism. We've had multiple car ramming attacks. On Monday, Israeli soldiers went into Jenin to extract Palestinian terrorists. While they were leaving with the terrorist in custody, they were hit by a car bomb and they had to be extracted by IDF support forces. For the first time since the Second Intifada in the 2000s, Israel had to use a helicopter gunship to ensure that its soldiers were safe and those injured could be evacuated. And then on Tuesday, Nachman Mordoff, Elisha Anteman, both 17 years old, 21-year-old Harel Masood and 64-year-old Ofer Fayerman were murdered by a terrorist. How many times am I repeating this similar story? Israelis just going about life, standing at a bus stop, having hummus at a gas station, murdered because of terrorism. And what is again disgusting about this, not only have these lives been cut short, 17-year-olds, they had their whole lives ahead of them, a 20-year-old, 21-year-old, a 64-year-old, different generations murdered. Not only is that tragic, what is also absolutely disgusting is that there are Palestinians celebrating. Images have already surfaced of sweets being handed out in certain Palestinian cities in Gaza, celebrating the murder of innocent people. How are we ever going to have peace with this sort of incitement to murder? Recently, we've heard certain things being called an obstacle to peace. 25 Israelis have been murdered in 2023 alone. Over 25 people have been murdered in terror attacks. 2 foreign nationals were murdered in terror attacks in Israel. When Israel takes steps to prevent its citizens being murdered, that is when people seem to care. That is why education is so important. That is why awareness is so important. That is why you must be the voice of awareness. That is why you must speak up. Because if nobody else is, we can't stand there looking confused and go, why is nobody saying anything? The responsibility falls on us. This is Kasim Hafeez for the CUFI Weekly. Until next week, for Zion's sake, do not remain silent.
Thanks for checking out this episode. Be sure to like and subscribe so you get a notification every time a new episode hits. And if you want to check out some of our previous episodes, and we've got some really good ones, click on one of the thumbnails and that will take you right there. And finally, if you want to know more about CUFI and the work we do, go to cufi.org to check out all the resources we have available free to you.